Mount Sparks more.
Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 751 of FloWrestling Radio Live. You know it's Wednesday. You know what it means. Yeah, we got JD in the 1994 Denver Broncos shirt. That's fine. Yeah, we got Ben Askren. Sure, he looks great. He hasn't shaved, but his hair's on point. But we got
my hair either.
We got Mount Sparksmore in the house. His hair's ready. He's getting a little taste of the Twitter heat. He may not go back for seconds of that taste. Shane, you've ignited a firestorm with your Mount Sparksmore, which had 5 and not 4 faces, which is it's
it's his damn mountain. Let him have as many faces as he wants. Wait,
Yeah.
I want to see this. Oh shoot! God dang it! I can never see it on VMix. I need to go to Facebook to be able to see it.
Pull up the Google Doc, and you can click the tweet. Ben.
Oh, that one. I got you.
Technology
That
Wednesdays
one.
with Ben.
So yeah, we'll get back to Technology Wednesdays. So Shane, why don't you just set up the stage and explain to me the trouble you've started? You're so mischievous, and you've done it again. Say how this happened, and then we can talk about your list.
All right, so I'm going to try to give you the shortest version on this. So,
Wait,
with
why
Big
is
Ten,
Shane's, hold on. Before Shane, why is we got Shane's face on the mountain? Why do we got no Wilbur Stieber, Kyle Snyder?
That I didn't quite understand, but I was like, okay, whatever. But
Yeah.
so
Right. It's
I
your
think,
mountain.
guys, let me tell you this: with any debate, the core of a debate is criteria. I mean, that's what the debate is. Everything goes around criteria. And the way this was set up, I did videos. And I'm not a social media expert, but you're supposed to get it's like around a minute. And I believe if it's over like 220 or something like that, they can't post the video. So I was able to post videos on Instagram that go along with this post. But when you see the post, there's no criteria. People don't know the criteria. I stand by this list and we'll get into it. And yeah, the Iowa fan base, I love the Iowa fan
criteria.
base.
Let's go. I want to hear this criteria.
So here's my criteria. Simply put, the best Big Ten wrestlers the last 10 years over the course of their college career. That's important.
Oh, so nothing international?
Over the course, over the course of their college career. Kyle Snyder, during the course of his college career, had international success, as did Gable. That's it.
Okay, fair. Got it.
And let me tell you something else, guys. Anytime you get in these debates, this is never an indictment on anybody. Like,
well,
it's
it
not
is,
like
though. But it is, Shane.
Not really. Now, so before we get into this, well, we can dive in. There's the criteria. What have you done over the course of your college career? And just so you guys know, one thing that matters to me in my criteria, to nobody's fault of their own, and this is where, Ben, I'll give you major props. What you did to Jake Herbert was unbelievable. If you do that to somebody,
Jake.
Jake Herbert is fantastic. Like, who you beat matters. And again, it's an opinion thing. It's my mountain. But this list, I mean, I'm getting people that are like, this is the biggest BS list ever. I want to respond with like, yeah, it's a bunch of scrubs, isn't it? Like all these guys I have are just scrubs. You're right. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Man.
There's the table set.
David.
All right, but hold on. So listen, Shane, I know you don't like controversy, but I'm a master of controversy here. And you said it's not about putting someone down, but in fact it is, because it's a comparison list. It's saying, I think this guy is better than that guy. That's how you come up with the top 5. So you are in fact saying people are superior. And while, someone may be top 7, number 6 or number 7 are feeling a little bit left out here.
But here's the funny part about it, Ben. Think about what you just said. Think about what you just said. If you're one of the top 7 guys in the Big Ten the last 10 years, that's incredible. If you are one of the top 30 guys in the Big Ten the last 10 years, you are really, really good.
But you got to realize that people don't feel that way.
What's that?
You got to feel people don't feel that way. The number 6 or number 7, they have high standards, and they're like, F this guy. I want to be number 5. And then, and then they're probably not even as delusional as their fan bases. Their fan base is probably more delusional.
Yeah, close. And I love the Iowa fan base. I love it. But that is a passionate group.
So before we get too far into it, which we already are, we got to say who's on the list, what's happened, and why we're even talking about any of this. We kind of put the cart ahead of the horse here. So on his list, I'll tee it up. Gable,
baby.
Kyle Snyder, Bo Nickal, Zane Rutherford, Logan Stieber. His top 4 is the top 5. He has 5 guys in his top 4. Okay, so what do we think about this list? And some of the biggest things that stood out, actually didn't stand out to me.
Well, there's 2.
Bo Nickal
number
being
6
on.
And number 7.
Wait, what?
Number 6 and number 7 are the. I think you could argue very easily for David Taylor and Spencer Lee, and I think it'd be hard to argue for anyone else.
I'd agree. Well, the other 2 that come to mind, Nolf and Ruth are in the conversation.
Yes.
Neither have a Hodge, though. Neither have a Hodge or international level success during their college career, so they're out.
So when I look at the Big Ten, they have a tournament towards the end of the year, and you should win that one. That's the one I think you should win a lot. And David Taylor never lost to anyone in the Big Ten his entire career. He was more dominant than every person on this list. He lost to a GOAT, Kyle Dake, and he had one loss his freshman year.
The animal?
And
Kyle Dake, the animal?
He lost to a GOAT.
Christian, the hardest decision I had here, the hardest one was Taylor or Nickal. That was the one where I really, really struggled. But this is what I thought about when I thought about Taylor. And God, I can't believe I'm in a debate against David Taylor because he's the Magic Man. He's phenomenal. But keep this in mind. The ultimate goal is not a Big Ten title. Nickal got 3, Taylor got 4. The ultimate goal is the NCAA championship, any way you slice it. I understand losing to Dake. I get it. But keep in mind, he suffered the greatest loss this sport can offer. He got pinned in an NCAA final. Somebody might come back and say, well, Snyder got pinned, and my rebuttal to that would be, 2 world titles and Olympic gold during college. I can look past that. David Taylor won 2 national titles. 2, which is fantastic. And again, I don't like dissing people here, but beating Gabe Dean and beating Gabe Dean is different than beating Brandon Hatchett.
Yeah, well, he had other wins I would say are much better than the Brandon Hatchett win throughout his career. He beat national champion St. John multiple times. He beat Tyler Caldwell, one of the best to never win a title.
He's a 4-timer.
A guy with wins over Andrew Howe. I think it's not hard. I think David Taylor is far more dominant. More dominant.
Bo Nickal had a 50% pin rate. He's one match short of 50% pin rate.
David Taylor had 95 match terminations in his career. 95.
How many Bo have? By comparison, because Bo's had to be super high also.
Bo had, hold on, I just had it.
Gosh, the number, it's 90-something.
Oh, I don't think so. I don't think it's
90%? I don't think it's 90%, but
no.
It's high.
A career, I believe Bo had 78 bonus.
Career is 72%, but that includes his redshirt year, so we would need to pull that off.
Bo Nickal was 78% bonus points, if I remember right.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
David was 93%.
Okay,
there's no one in his strata from a dominance perspective. Keep this in mind with Bo Nickal. Here's another thing I throw at Bo Nickal. Bo Nickal pinning Miles Martin. Again, my opinion here. Monumental pin that gave Penn State the win over Ohio State in one of the best team battles in NCAA history. Yeah.
Bo Nickal, like, guys, look at it this way. Bigger at the big stages, Bo Nickal won big matches. Again,
he lost to
Taylor lost a couple NCAA finals.
He lost to the 11 seed in the NCAA finals. Bo Nickal, the 11. That's I don't know how you look past that so easily, Shane.
Yeah.
I'm saying that he took second place and he didn't get pinned.
Yeah, if you just add up NCAA finishes, okay, then what's even the point of this? I mean, I think it's such it's simple, but I don't think it's accurate. There's got to be some context there. If you lose it, if David had run the table, if Kyle Dake didn't exist, then.
So do you guys think there's no? So you think the other? I'm guessing you guys feel like the other 4 are the more solid ones, and you wouldn't go after. So because obviously there's 2 people you get. Hold on, there's 2 people, Spencer and David, you could put on this list. I think Noel and Ruth, I love them. They're actually my favorite to watch, but I think they're like 8, 9. They're a little bit below this. So Rutherford, Stieber has 4 titles. He does, but he did lose to a true freshman, Rutherford, so you can count that against him.
Look how he ended up doing.
But he does have a Hodge. So where do you put Spencer and David on here, Christian, or no?
I don't put Spencer on here. Spencer doesn't belong on this. So
let me just interrupt with this, guys. When it comes to Nickal and Taylor, I went back and forth. Like, here's what I would tell you, Christian. I went back and forth on Nickal and Taylor. I'm okay with Taylor. Like, I went back and forth. The one that I'm taking the heat on, I mean, I can handle a heat on David Taylor, and you can make a great argument for him, and I get it. I think it's very close. I don't think it's either one of those guys. I don't think it's like, oh, you're crazy that you have one of those guys on the list. But for Spencer Lee, the other big thing is his career's not over yet. And somebody can say Gable Stevenson's career's not over with. And here's my point. This list of mine was effective on February 8th, yesterday. It can change. If Spencer wins the 4th title, he probably is going to go on the list. If Gable loses, which he could, I mean, it's wrestling. Anybody can lose. I get it. But he could, if he loses, he's off the list. But as of February 8th, 2022, that's my list. But the Taylor Nickal one, yeah, that was you can make a case for either one of those. The one I'm taking the heat on is not Evan Spencer on. And compared to the guys on that list, where they are at this point in their college careers, again, with all due respect to Spencer, I don't think my list is crazy by any stretch.
Yeah, I think Stieber is a no-brainer. 4-time Big Ten champ. He beat Jordan Oliver, Tony Ramos. He beat Zane Rutherford twice. 80% bonus rate, one of the highest bonus rates on your list. Might be the highest bonus rate of anyone on the list. So
did you realize Zane never got to 90% in one season? He was only 38% his freshman season, and he was 88.5, 89.2, 83.8 his last 3 years.
Yeah, he never got to 90. And David Taylor, 93 career bonus rate.
Percent.
It's ridiculous what David, and I think there's, I don't know, maybe a little bit of recency with Bo and how good he was, but man, I think I
can't get rid of that pin he had over Miles Martin. It was like Bo Nickal on the biggest stages. Guys, hear me out on this. Biggest stages, Bo Nickal in the Big Ten, he's the guy.
Yeah. But he didn't win the Big Ten 4 times. I mean, if it's a Big Ten thing, and he didn't win NCAAs 4 times. I mean, listen, like you said, it's nitpicking for sure. But for me, Stieber's got to be on there. 4-time
What about
Big Ten.
Stieber almost losing to Dardanes his last year? Does that count against him or no?
Yeah, that hurts his bonus rate slightly. That hurts his bonus rate.
Wait,
but
not it wasn't a bonus, Christian. He almost lost.
Yeah, I know. He had close. And Zane Rutherford had a 3-2 win over BJ Cleggan. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. I mean, he won.
All right.
But
don't get mad at me. I don't like the tone.
I'm just saying, close win. Yeah, he beat a really good wrestler close. Okay. Now, what you could bring up is that he lost to Chris Dardanes.
That would be that's a valid point.
That is a loss that hurts the argument, but I think in general he was so dominant. So with Snyder's interesting because the guy wrestled so few matches, and if this is a freestyle award, then okay, then that's a different sort of thing.
Yeah. He said he was including that, so that's
I included
fair.
College careers, and that's where Snyder, to me, you could make an argument. I think when you look at his overall body of work, if you had all his accolades with no name, I think Snyder might be the number one guy. His college career was insane.
But he lost his senior year.
Yeah, but Christian, he lost to Adam Kuhn. Like, come on.
Doesn't matter. He lost. No, I don't want to change that. He lost.
Fine. all the guys on my list have 3 career losses, I believe it is.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle
That's how many
Snyder,
David has. That's how many
look
David
at the
has.
guys he had to beat a 2-time reigning national champion in Nick Wisdowski, who's arguably one of the better heavyweights. I mean, he's a phenomenal heavyweight. And then he does 15, 16, 17, wins 3 Big Ten titles. Man, I mean, Snyder, I think, is pretty solidified on that list because, like I said, my criterion, people can have their own mountains and their own criteria, but mine, it was during college career. And I'd have a hard time knocking Snyder off of that.
He
beat Goat of Goats and did it for America in this time frame. So
yeah,
if you include international, he has to be on.
I mean, he beat Sad Goliath during college. I mean, that's kind of a checkmate move.
Yeah.
Checkmate, Piles.
Well, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing about college now. It's like maybe that's your best window to be the best in the world.
Maybe.
He hasn't done it since. If he had continued it on, I mean, I don't think college is this huge detriment anymore to international success. I think it's
I don't think it is.
I mean, look what Gable just did. Look at Zane made a team in college. So I don't know.
Because let me throw this out there, guys. If this is the best Big Ten wrestlers last 10 years, international stuff included, just 10-year window, Taylor and Burroughs are on the list for sure. I mean, easily. But
Burroughs
it's just
never wrestled in the
only.
Big Ten.
That's the window.
Burroughs never wrestled in the Big Ten.
He was a Big 12.
Oh, that's right. I always forget that.
Yeah, you're lucky because if Jordan wasn't, if you were looking past Jordan, I'd have him on there.
Well, he's
not even a 4-time All-American.
Doesn't even.
He's 2011 graduate, so technically that's more than 10 years ago. Also,
yes,
because we're in the 2022 season.
Man,
we are.
Flies.
That is the year. That's crazy.
Crazy.
Okay, so I guess the thing with Spencer, and I can get yelled at too.
Get yelled at.
I don't care. I don't. I'm used to the.
I'm not used to it. I got to be honest. It's kind of bothered me a little bit. I'm like, these people are just. I mean, I like to be the nice guy, get along with people. I mean, I love a good wrestling debate, but the problem is when people don't know the criteria, they're just all over me. It's like, whatever. I'll get used to it.
The other day on Twitter, it was hilarious. I got too deep into it, but these 2 random Iowa accounts were arguing about who's the bigger draw. Brock Purdy, which, if you don't know, is the Iowa State starting quarterback. Brock Purdy.
Oh, we're talking about football? I thought this was a wrestling podcast.
Yesterday there was a huge debate on Iowa radio or something like that.
Between who's the bigger draw, Brock Purdy, the starting Iowa State quarterback, or Spencer Lee.
Spencer Lee, duh.
No.
Well, the other person in that debate, JD, the one I heard was Caitlin Clark, the Iowa women's basketball player, was in the mix too.
Yeah, she's been popular lately. But this random account from somebody who I believe is from Texas just hopped in with these 2 random Iowa accounts and said all this about some guy who's 5'3" and 125 pounds because he screenshots his Wikipedia. He's like, I had to look him up. You guys are arguing about this tiny person?
Yeah,
it's just hilarious to me.
He packs a punch.
Yeah, he does.
It's tough for Spencer because really, one, he's getting 5 Big Ten seasons, right? Because he's already wrestled in 4 Big Ten tournaments. He won 2 of them. Okay, he hasn't wrestled as much for a variety of reasons. But 78-5 currently, 5 losses. I think that would be more than anyone else on your list. And as good as he is from a bonus perspective, he's at 79%. He's like right around the Logan Stieber bonus rate with more losses. So with more losses with fewer matches. So I don't think. Sorry, I know Iowa. He's going to win 4. He'll win it next year, and I don't know if that puts him past these guys.
Yeah.
Also, what's from a signature win perspective, there's the last year where he didn't get to finish the 2020 season. He hasn't had to face. That's not entirely his fault.
It's not his fault, but it's part of the equation. It's part of the
equation for sure. And also, when you don't, it can be negated. It can be negated that you haven't beat an all-timer if you run the table. But you need to run the table. The Ronnie Bresser, the NATO, the Piccinini, those losses, Rivera twice. those are factors, right?
Yes.
Because those guys are not all. Nick Piccinini, Ronnie Bresser, Sebastian Rivera are not all-timers.
When's Flo going to make a top college wrestlers list? That would be way more fun. Folk style results only.
That is a good idea.
Because honestly, when that would be a lot of fun, and the criteria would be easier than your last list.
So much easier.
So much
easier. Oh my
easier.
gosh!
But then it also partly becomes just a counting contest.
No, I won't let it be.
No,
it can't be math.
Yeah,
it can't be.
Can't be math.
And much more becomes a counting contest.
No, it'll be. Yeah.
Disagree.
Well, no. In a way, it's as long as I agree with him. We're gonna be counting, but we're not just gonna count NCAA titles.
Well, yeah, not just.
We're gonna count
record.
You count record. You count bonus rate. You count. It is a variety of math.
It is who you beat and who you lost to. I mean,
it's who you beat. Who you beat is so big.
Yeah. You're not gonna have someone who didn't win an NCAA title in the top 10, obviously, right?
You're not gonna have someone. You're not gonna have someone who lost to Nathan Burak on your Mount Rushmore. Or are you? Shame.
Maybe. What I looked at though, like when I'm looking at these guys, and then I brought up Lee and Taylor, and then I brought up Ruth and Nolf. It's kind of like, damn, and a lot of it's Penn State, but this is kind of a golden era. Like I kind of feel like a lot of those guys, if you made a top 50 of all time, a lot of them dudes are on it.
Absolutely.
Oh, it would be how many guys? How many? Penn State would have quite a few in the top 15. David, Ed, Bo.
I don't know
Zane.
if Ed didn't make top 15. You're not putting them in the top 7 of this.
And they might not.
I mean, maybe if you eliminated freestyle results, you would consider putting them in the top 7. Probably.
Ed's in the mix if you take freestyle away. I mean, that guy was an absolute boss. Yeah. You take freestyle out of this, it changes the equation and definitely more favorable for Ruth.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I mean, if it's who you beat, why no more credit for? I think one of the best wins on here is Isaiah Martinez for Jason Nolf. Like that is a huge freaking win.
Yeah.
Win.
Nolf is the guy for me, guys. Those are my 5, and the guys that would have been right after Taylor would have been my 6th. I mean, Taylor and Nickal that one was so close. I would have went Taylor, and then I would have had. I probably then I would have had, just because their careers are over, Nolf, Ruth, and Spencer.
Dang! Oh man, I was coming.
His career's not over, Ben.
Stay off your Twitter
the only guy in this debate. His career's not over.
Listen, I'm not telling you the Iowa fans are going to make sense. They're going to come at you like a honey badger today. Just watch.
If
number
Spencer
9.
Lee wins his 4th national title, I'm probably putting him on the mountain. I mean, so his career's not over with. Everybody else's career is done minus
They don't care. Iowa fans, they're not hearing you right now. They want to lynch you. They want to get you.
And I
they
love
don't like
Spencer
you.
Lee. Phenomenal.
Hey,
Iowa fans are coming after you.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get on the Facebook here.
Iowa fans, I want to hear what you have to say about Shane's list. Call into 515-509-5071.
Well, we're not
Leave
taking them
all
live
the
on this
voicemails.
show.
Not live.
Oh, we're not. Okay, not live. All right.
Yeah,
all right.
that's risky business, but
They're coming after Shane.
leave some
Okay,
voicemails. Either for the show or for my own personal entertainment.
I had a couple diehard Hawkeye fans I talked to last night. I'll keep them off their names off the record. They call me up and they are hot. And I'm telling you, by the end of the conversation, all of them, not most of them. And I talked to about 3 or 4 off the phone. They're like, you know what, Shane? Based on your criteria, you're right. I'm like, yeah, calm down. We're all good.
I don't know. Shane getting a little taste of the heat. Put on some aloe vera. All right, that's fun. We can talk more. I could talk about this all day. But we should probably move on. Sammy Brooks' mullet. You gave birth to Sammy Brooks' mullet. You brought it to prominence, Shane. And now, how the turntables have turned.
That guy hammers me.
He is all over it. He wants you suspended.
Suspended. 2 weeks, no pay.
We should hit you with a Montel Marion permanent suspension, where it's a permanent suspension, but you come back when we need you.
Yeah.
The best of all suspensions.
That was an all-time suspension. It was so permanent that he came back. Okay.
So permanent.
So we've got Hodge rankings. JD says, is it even worth talking about? Which is to say, he says Gable is going to win no matter what. Not even if there's a fire. There's no one else. Yanni is number 2.
Yeah, Yanni's got 5 pins in a row. He's starting to turn on a little bit.
Yeah, and he
it's
made a
Gable.
big jump because he had 0 pins before the last update 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then he hit his EIWA schedule.
Yeah.
And
He's still only at 72% bonus though.
76.
76. 100 for Gable. That's
I'm looking
gonna
at
help.
7. Are you guys sure? Because I'm on WrestleStat right now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Does he have a forfeit? Because I don't include forfeits in
Oh,
records.
well, there's an injury on here. You don't include
Or
that
injury
either.
default. So that match gets.
You
it out.
swipe that out. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right, got it. Okay.
Stop questioning his stats. His stats are clean. Keegan's third. Keegan's gonna have a hard man. If Keegan first has to win 165, which is gonna be very
And he's got
difficult to do.
Yeah, and Gable would have to lose, and that's just Keegan gonna have to wait till next year. It looks like.
Yeah, for the Hodge for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what? I don't have no idea how Gable doesn't win the Hodge this year.
He loses. That's basically it.
Basically, he would
Or
have
he stops bonusing right now.
he would have to fall off the. And I think the way think how hard he's wrestling for these bonus points
hard.
in regular season matches. He's only going to turn it up as it gets more and more important.
I don't know if he can turn it up. He's wrestling full throttle. It looks like.
He really. I like how he's waiting. I say waiting. He gets a decent lead in the third, and then he just goes embarrassment mode in the third period. It is just insane the level he's wrestling at right now.
I don't think we'll ever see anything like it again.
No.
Well, the one match that we haven't seen, who was his closest match last year, is Greg. So maybe he doesn't major him potentially.
Maybe, yeah.
I didn't realize Seabass at 94% that's compelling.
It is.
I didn't realize he was so high.
He hasn't wrestled anybody yet, though.
Yeah.
That's
he's
his,
tearing
that's
everybody
his
up.
caveat. Yeah.
Think about Rivera, guys. With his career, if he wins the Big Tens this year, he'll have 3 Big Tens at 3 weights, and the guys he'll have had to beat: Spencer Lee, Roman Bravo Young, and most likely one or a combination of Jaden Ironman and Nick Lee.
And he also beat Seth Gross, an NCAA champion at Big Tens.
Yeah.
Big Ten semis.
He might be maybe
Lavina,
this
baby.
is, I don't know what you guys think about this. Is he the best
Put him on Mount
wrestler that-
Rushmore.
No, but Sebastian Rivera seems to me a little bit in comparison to a lot of the other really good guys. He seems like he's just kind of under the radar. He doesn't get talked about a ton, right? Would you guys agree with that?
Bracky and I drove the Rivera hype train all last year. He was our pick to win 41 the entire year long.
Okay.
So we've done our part, but then he didn't win. He wasn't as good as those guys last year.
Guys,
so
he really hasn't wrestled anyone super. His highest rank win on this is on WrestleStat. I don't know what you guys have him ranked. Is CJ Composto at number 19.
Yeah, he was denied the opportunity to wrestle Nick Lee.
Yeah.
Not his fault, obviously.
Not his fault.
It was an unprecedented time situation.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, 141 at the Big Tens is going to be fantastic.
I guess the caveat would be maybe the biggest path is if Rivera runs the table, maintains his bonus rate, and then Gable somehow cools. But even then, they're not going to give it to Sebastian Rivera over an undefeated Gable.
No.
They're not.
It may be illegal.
Gable has to lose to start wrestling 1-point matches.
Might be illegal, he says.
The only way it becomes a conversation is if Gable loses somehow and then wins NCAAs. So he would have to lose at Big Tens, win NCAAs. Then I still think people would probably consider Gable, just because it's Dan Gable.
With Gable this year, they ought to do something fun and be like, you know what? From now on, when he wrestles, it's 9-0 on the scoreboard, regardless of who he's wrestling.
Yeah, make him run it down. That's what
that would be insane to see. I mean, I don't know if I'd bet against him then even.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably not. Probably not. You'd be nervous. He's wrestling Mason. He's wrestling Kirkfleet. He's got 9. He's down 9. I bet he wins.
There is one person who could maybe sneak into the conversation via heart debate. It won fast twitch if he came back and just pinned everybody.
You don't get the heart. I don't think you get the heart award when you're doing the triple pass on the no passing zone. I think that's gonna make it tough. When you're hitting people, hitting people in head-on collisions, that's gonna make it tough. Although we haven't heard anything, maybe we'll learn. Maybe we'll get a little info on the ground in Arlington this weekend about the fast.
Maybe you should get all the details.
We probably won't get any.
He was in Gallagher reportedly this past weekend watching and walking around.
All right.
So
hopefully
that's as much information as I know.
That's all we're allowed to know. What's your take on 197, Shane? We talked about it a bunch yesterday. Who's going to win this weight?
That weight class, Christian, I think, that weight class will have one of the biggest influences on the national tournament trophy, team trophies. I have no idea who's winning 197. I mean, Eric Schultz, I believe, started the season ranked 12th or 13th, something like that. Cameron Cathy was up near 20. I mean, how would you like to face Cameron Cathy on Thursday night? 197 has eight guys. I don't want to say easily can win, but if I said to you right now, like, I could give you 8 guys where I could say this guy wins, and you'd be like, yeah, and I'd be like, okay, you wouldn't put you maybe put $2 on it. You're not putting $3. 197 is going to be so much fun. 197 is going to be a blast, especially, and I hope Ferrari's in the mix. But depending on his health too, now it really tightens things up. I think if he's healthy, he's obviously the favorite. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Jacob Warner, Max Dean, Patrick Brucky. I'm talking Big Ten. Cameron Cathy. I mean, and you got other guys around the country that are good too in that weight class. 197 is going to be It's going to be awesome to watch that weight class.
The results from our Spotify poll yesterday.
Elam from Missouri is a stud. I mean,
48% of people picked Max Dean, 15% said Jacob Warner, 6% said Buchanan, 5% said Elam, 8% said Schultz, 7% said Cam Cathy, and 11% said other.
Yeah,
it's awesome. I love 197. I love 197.
Max Dean was so high.
I mean, it's the thing, like we said yesterday, it's the Penn State.
It's Penn State.
They have a lot of fans. Also, you put Max Dean head-to-head, like, against everybody, and you're like, I'd favor Max Dean. I'd favor Max Dean. I'd favor Max Dean.
That's the thing, like, in that case, honestly, other should be having a high percentage because there's other includes not one pick, but many picks. So,
Also, in the other is AJ Ferrari currently.
Correct.
Currently.
That's quite the gamble, though.
I'll take the other. I'll throw my
give me the other.
I think AJ's far and away better than all these guys. We'll see what he looks like, but this time off the mat.
Yeah, what a list. I mean, that is, like I said, that those quarterfinals at 197 Friday morning, man, that'll be fun.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Speaking of fun, Saturday, battle at the ballpark, Iowa versus Oklahoma State. The probable lineups here. The probables have not actually been released by the teams yet, right, JD? This is our probables.
Who we expect to see.
Yeah, and this duel, for the struggles that Oklahoma State has been having, they match up kind of good against Iowa, despite all that. Especially if Mastro wrestles. If they have to wrestle the other guy, that's a big problem because then Jesse Ybarra is probably going to win. But beyond that, they match up really well with Mastro versus Ybarra. Dayton's never lost to DeSanto. G. Murin. I don't know. G at 18. I was kind of yelling at JD this morning. Not really
yelling at him.
But I was like, man, what's Caden G-Feller got to do to get in the top 15? Yeah, he lost to Jaden Abbas, but then he's beaten a bunch of pretty tough guys.
He's above in the rankings.
I know, but he's had a
really good year.
He's had a really good year.
He's had a really good year.
Pinned Josh Edmond. He beat Blockus. He beat Josh Demas or Dom Demas. For all we know, he beat Josh Demas too at some point. And I think he's just a little low. I think him versus Max Murin has got to be close to a coin flip. I'm curious. The things that'll be the factor in that match is, one, Murin, 7 minutes. If he gets if it's close late, you favor Murin. I think it's something where G needs to ride him, and Murin's pretty tough to ride. He's got to out-scramble him, which I think he can do, though Murin is underrated in the scrambles. I think it's a really big match, and I think it's a close one, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know
that'll be a great match.
You think it's a one takedown match?
Well, it's not, I mean, that's not really going on a limb or anything.
Yeah, that's a Max Mirren match.
Yeah.
That's a Max Beer match.
The mat returns could play a role. Someone says JD hates the
Don't
Cowboys.
Don't encourage Shane to start get going.
Yeah.
I didn't say it's the most important thing, but in that kind of match, Christian, as you just said, in that kind of match, those will be big. I mean, 20 seconds off a restart, you better finish on top. It doesn't have to be a big booming mat return. It can be a little slick little trip. I'm not, this whole mat return too. Sometimes people think like, oh, that's all I think is important. It's not, but it is part of the equation.
Well, it's not hard for people to understand why they think that about you, Shane. It is.
Shane, you need to make a T-shirt that says something about mat returns.
You are mailing people bobbleheads of you in honor of their 0-point mat returns. So
wait, that's
I just
happening?
love hard wrestling.
He's mailing people bobbleheads.
Where is he getting bobbleheads at?
He's got a guy. He's got a bobblehead.
He's got a guy. He's got a guy.
Yeah, we give the bobblehead away once a week. There's been some. I mean, that one that Kirkleet had on Sunday against Nebraska. I mean, that thing was like, man. I mean, that thing shook. I mean, they're sending the people a rec call to get that thing back level set because it is off kilter after that mat return. It was awesome.
Where's this happening? I'm totally missing this, guys. Is this a flow thing?
No.
Where's Shane sending the bobbleheads out? Is it a Big Ten Network thing? What is it?
Yeah. Big Ten Network. Yeah, yep.
Come on,
Christian, we need to get some Christian Piles bobbleheads. What would you give? What would you give them away
There's a
for?
Christian Piles bobblehead.
What
would Christian give them away for?
But most fire takes probably, or probably just I don't know. What would it be for? I don't know.
What's an aspect of wrestling that you just love? I mean, what gets you when you see something in a wrestling mat? Like what just fires you up and you're like, this is so important to win? What would it be for you?
I don't know what it is.
Mine would be Scramble of the Week.
Yeah, that would be yours, Ben.
Reattacks or something. I think they're
reattacks.
They're the best.
Love a good reattack.
I love them.
Hardest snap down when you just put someone's face through the mat.
That's a good one. Snaps are awesome.
But that one's rare, where it's like a really good snap where they literally can't even catch themselves before they just eat mat. But when it happens, that's amazing.
Pico's like one of the best.
Gable, obviously.
Gable would win it.
Some of Gable's. Oh my gosh. Man.
Yeah, Gable's ridiculous.
We're all drooling.
Yeah, we're big fans.
We're salivating.
I would love to feel his snap if I knew I wasn't going to get hurt. Like, how fun would that? I don't want to.
I don't think you want to feel it.
See, now Shane, I'm with you on some of this. I'd want no part of the Gable one because he's too big. He would literally injure me. But like Pico's is one I wanted to. Like, what is it like that he snaps Zane Rutherford on his hands basically every time they tie up?
I mean, obviously, there's. I don't think so. My take would be there's not that much of a power differential between his snap and other people's snaps. What they probably nail is the timing with the fake, right? Somehow they're getting the guy to move and snapping at the correct time.
Ben, what was something in your career? What was something in your career? A feel that you got from somebody in any area that surprised you a little bit? Like, man, that was whoa. What would you say?
One would be guys who could get me off the mat fast. And so Aymar, I wrestled. We worked out together, and he was like, "Oh crap!" And then you got to kind of readjust, like you recalibrate because of that. And the other guy who did it to me, and there's only two that have ever done it to me like that, would be he was an Indian guy, and he actually eventually he was young when I wrestled him, and he ended up taking a world bronze, but. The first period, he got me up a few times. I'm like, oh, damn, like that doesn't usually ever happen. And then I gassed him out and decked him in the third period. But those two like got me off the mat faster than anyone ever.
Okay. I like unpredictability. Like in a like I don't know what this guy's gonna do. Like Nolf was really fun in that way. That you weren't quite sure what was gonna happen. Where some other wrestlers, you're like, okay. I know it's going to be a takedown, and it's going to be this kind of takedown, this kind of turn, rinse and repeat. And it's like, all right, I've seen this movie. Whereas with other guys, it's like, did not expect that. Okay.
I ever tell you guys I love talking wrestling with you guys?
Hey, likewise, Shane. Glad to have you on here. So that's 49. Somehow I don't know what happened there. It's plenty of tangents. 57 is another coin flip match for sure. These guys have split in their career. Sheets had a tough win against Missouri. I forget who he wrestled. Did he beat Jake Hughes?
It was okay. Listen, tough win. It was some crap wrestling on both parts.
Plenty of mat returns though, I think.
No, he stood. Remember, it was the stupid thing where they were rear standing for like 35 seconds. You don't remember this?
Oh, this was
Sheets on his back. It was
hatchet
terrible.
job.
It was terrible on all parts. It was awful.
They needed to call the stalemate on Sheets. And Jake Hughes is trying to do the gimmick of, let me hold his hands. He held his hands while he was up so that he couldn't get away. It was shameful on all counts.
It was bad. It was so bad.
That was bad.
And then I mean, listen, I hate picking on my Missouri guys, Christian, but it was so bad. I can't stand it when the bottom guy works that hard for a stall call. It's like, hey, dum-dum, how about you try getting an escape? Like, just try. You're not even trying right now. You're just trying to get a stall call. This is ridiculous. Get freaking away. Get freaking away from this man.
It's a brutal gimmick. It's a brutal
gimmick.
I don't think they should. But the refs very rarely fall for it. He did in that instance, and then he finally realized, wait, he's just holding his hand so he can't release him. It's like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, wrestlers they can be shameful at times. Now here's my question: this 65 match, Whitlake Marinelli. On the one hand, you can say, all right, Travis has not been looking good. Great, maybe we'll say. He lost to Austin Yant. But then you can say, all right, well, he wrestled Keegan O'Toole pretty tough in a match where I don't think we expected that. But then I think, what do Keegan O'Toole and Alex Marinelli have in common? Nothing at all. There's nothing in common. I
think it's going to be close, obviously, right?
Yeah, I think it's going to be close.
It gets close, but it's Marinelli.
It's going to be close, but it's Marinelli. That's kind of how I feel. I don't know how Whitlake's going to – it's a different problem to solve, Keegan versus Alex defensively, but I'm not sure – he's going to have to get a pick or something quick, right? Not an extended finish. I think Bull's hand or hips are a little too heavy. But that's a match where if Oklahoma State's going to pull the upset, they're going to need that one, I think. I think that's going to be the one they got to get. I think that's their biggest upset opportunity, and they're going to need one upset.
I don't see it at all. I think like there's like a 5% chance of Whitlake winning. I think it's a really small number.
5%? They wrestled 100 times. Alex Marinelli wins.
If they wrestle 100 times, it's going to be 3-2 Marinelli, like 74 times.
Holy cow.
Out of the 100. Like
Holy
a lot.
buckets.
It's going to be 3-2 Marinelli, a freaking boatload of time.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, I would say probably 7.
You don't really disagree.
I mean, 95%.
You're going to be like,
gracious.
I disagree. It's going to be 64 times out of 100 that it's 3-2, not 74.
Well, that's a huge. That's a big difference.
It's a big number. I think it's really likely. I mean, because he's strong defensively. He's not particularly good on top, so it's not like he's ever going to ride. Mm-hmm. It's not like Marinelli's overly good on top. I mean, the other chance, right, is that Marinelli, like, Matt returns him enough to get ride time, but Marinelli's not going to keep him flat or put a boot in or something like that, right? So maybe Matt returns him enough times to get a ride time point, potentially, which then would make it, say, a 4-2 match, maybe.
Okay.
I think that's what he does.
Or maybe he gets a takedown at the end of a period, so he rides him out, and then it's a 3-1 match. That could happen. So I think we got a 3-2 match, like 74 times. I think we got a 4-2 match, like 12 times. I think we got a 3-1 match, another 12 times, and then Whitlake wins a 3-2 upset 4 times out of 100. There, I broke it down.
Well, there we broke it down statistically.
Those are the only possibilities.
I wonder how many people were thinking Pitch could pin Spencer going into this duel 3 years ago.
Pitch pinning Spencer is more likely than it being any of the other possibilities that I said.
Wow. I don't think that's the case. but we'll see.
That is an absolutely electric clip that I've watched more than a handful of
Pitch
times.
Spencer? Yeah,
Iowa
so
hater, JD Raider. Wow, it
Iowa
just
hater.
flows. Iowa hater.
That was
JD
electric,
Raider.
though. It was like the whole crowd went insane. It was kind of just a cool moment.
And John Smith doing the.
Oh, yeah.
It was nuts. Okay. Plot Kimmer, no chance. That's a 99.9%er for me.
99.9.
Basically no chance. Then
number.
Oklahoma State needs 84 as well. Because I think they're just like almost all but guaranteed to lose 41, 74, 97, and heavy. I think there's no opportunity to win there. So they've got to win 65 and 84. Assad's been coming on. I don't know.
Assad has been getting a little better.
Yeah, he has. He's improved. I mean, he battled Brooks hard. And, Abe's had a good year.
So Gear Assad, I think, is another coin flip match. I don't see a massive disparity here. I don't know if you guys agree or disagree.
Let me see. Let me check. Maybe I take back what I said about Abe Assad.
Okay.
His best wins over Braun. So he's beating the guys who aren't very good, right? But his best win would be Zach Braunagel, and he's lost to everyone who is really good. He is, however, stingy defensively, so it's not like he gets. Even Aaron Brooks didn't really blow him out. Trent Hidley beat him 6-0, but neither of those guys took him down in the third period. Both of those guys caused me. We know, JD, we're pissed about it because it caused us. If they would have got the takedowns, we would win another pick.
My favorite,
and that's one thing that with Assad that I really like. You bring up a really good point. I mean, guys are beating you. Maybe you're down by 5 or 6. The Brooks match comes to mind, and you figure out a way to keep it a decision. Like that's a lot of times that'd be a real easy time to give up. Abe Assad is 7 minutes of hard wrestling.
Oh boy, I see the replacement for Max Murin once Abe Assad's gone.
Listen, Shane, don't get too excited. Listen, I didn't say he's going to. I didn't. Hold on. Let me be right. I didn't say he's going to get takedowns in the third period and bringing the heat on these guys. I said he's doing just enough not to get taken down.
But Abe Assad competes hard for 7 minutes. He's improved. He's a guy. He's improved. I mean, you can see that he's improved this season. I'm not saying he's going to win the national title. I'm just saying, you talk about, stocks on the rise. Abe Assad is pretty darn good.
I don't know if he's improved. I mean, look at his true freshman. How much better is he than his true freshman year when he beat?
Yeah, he had some good wins that year too. Actually,
he beat Taylor Vance.
All-American as a true freshman, right? Well, that was 2020, right?
Sort of.
He actually beat Parker that year. Parker kept guys, and he beat him. That was Parker's only loss to redshirt year. Well, it was Parker's redshirt year.
Yeah, he had comparable. He had better wins, probably.
beat Max Lyon, beat Venz, beat Rocky Jordan. Had a 7-3 loss to Aaron Brooks, which is now 8-3. Lost to Caffey, who's not at that weight. Beat Rocky Jordan again. Beat Max Lyon again. Lost to Caffey and Venz. And that's actually kind of comparable.
I would say it's no different at this point. Not a ton of data, but there's nothing to suggest he's markedly improved, right? He was good as a true freshman. He continues to be good, but that next echelon, he has not reached it yet. He's yet to beat anyone as good as Taylor Venz, who he beat his true freshman year. So it remains to be seen.
So I got Gear.
Gear, similarly, his best win of the year is Jeremiah Kent, maybe?
I mean, it hasn't been great.
No. He lost to Marcus Coleman,
He's getting better. He's having a good year.
He's super good. Iowa State.
One loss.
Iowa State is weird.
Ames high, flies high, baby.
He's from Ames. So Gear's losses are to Parker, Marcus Coleman, who's very good, and Tate Samuelson. That's a tough loss there for Gear.
He really doesn't have any big wins either. Yeah, it's Jeremiah Kent's biggest win.
But no horrible losses. He also has he had the amazing NCAAs last year where he beat Hunter Bolin, Taylor Venz, Sammy Colbray, Britt Wilson. That's a run.
Yeah, Marcus Coleman only has one loss this year. He's having a damn good year.
He's a baller. He also announced he's coming back next year.
Dude,
Can you do that?
Yeah.
He can make that announcement. It is legal.
No, he feels like he's been in college forever. That's all I'm saying.
A lot of people have been in college forever.
How many times is Ben going to have this revelation about guys in college? Yeah, they've been in college longer. They get an extra year,
It just feels like, oh my God, this guy's been around forever. Why is he still here?
You're just jealous because you couldn't go to college that long.
You have the same revelation about a different guy every show.
You could have gotten another Hodge.
Christian, it feels weird. It feels weird. These dudes are going to college forever. And so it doesn't matter. We haven't talked about Marcus Coleman. And when you say he's going to college for another year, I'm like, wait, how is this dude in college another year? I got to go make sure you guys are right. I got to fact check JD.
The other day I'm doing the broadcast, and I did not even try to figure it out. I didn't even try to figure it out. Mason Manville wrestled for Penn State at 174. I went to his bio, and I'm like, I'm just going to say, here's Mason Manville for Penn State. I don't know. I'm not giving a grade. I'm not giving it. Like, Mason Manville, to me, has been around for a long, long time. And I think he's still got more eligibility left, I think.
He's got multiple. He's only a
He's a junior. He's a junior on the roster, but I think eligibility-wise,
he's a sophomore.
Yes,
there's multiple red shirts here, and his career record is 10-13.
Meanwhile,
maybe just move on and get a job.
Meanwhile, okay, one more time. Hayden Hidley, he wrestled at Who's Number One his senior year. Hayden is in his 1, 2, 3, 4. Hayden's in his 6th year. He's super done after this year. Hayden will not be allowed.
Done. He's super done. He's not kind of done. Super done.
He's super done. He won't be allowed back. He can make no such announcements. Dude, and how about just like the idea of college recruiting is so insane. Like Hayden Hidley lost to Mason Manville, I think twice his senior year in high school, and their college careers are just not even comparable. Hayden's freshman year, he was undefeated and made the NCAA finals as a freshman. It's just like you just never know. You just never know.
He lose to Nolf that year?
Yep. That was the Nolf injury NCAAs where he just he came back with the and just killed everyone. He killed Hayden. He beat Hayden worse that year than he did the next year when they had the controversial match. Man, recruiting is nuts. Okay. But yeah, Hayden Mason Manville, I think he's a sophomore. I think he'll have 2 years left after this.
I think I heard something the other day, guys, and I should have wrote it down because it was really good, and now I forgot. But it involves Mark Hall. Like, there's some guy out there. Gosh, I wish I remembered this. Mark Hall didn't come into college until this guy was in college for 2 years, and now this guy's still wrestling, and Mark Hall's been out for 2 years.
Yep.
Gosh, I gotta think. It might. Gosh, who is it? Micic? It might be Micic.
Micic is old. He's been in college 8 years.
I think Micic might have had 2 years in before Hall came to school. Don't quote me on this one. It might have been Micic. Micic had 2 years in before Hall got to college, and now Hall's been out for 2 years, and Micic is still rolling.
Micic graduated high school before me.
Yeah. He had wrestled. He did the 2015 Northwestern year. Then he had the 2016 Michigan year where he redshirted, so that didn't count.
Yep.
In 2017, Mark. So he sort of had 2 years before Mark came in. But yeah, it's a weird year.
Weird year for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Basically, every Oklahoma State match we have ends up with a tangent somewhere else, but I'll bring it back. So then that's 84.
I thought we were done with this.
Okay, we're done with it. All right, that's it. So moving on. What time is it? 9:10. Okay. Do you want to play?
No, I hate this game.
No, you don't hate the game. You don't get the game.
I get the game.
No, you don't.
Miles, I have a 146 IQ while I'm driving a car. I freaking understand the game.
Okay, genius.
One hand. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm just doing the IQ test.
That's
I finished faster than anyone in the car. I'm on my way to 2014 NCAAs, Oklahoma City. They're getting lippy about how high their IQ. I'll whoop all your asses when I'm driving the car. I can't get past 146, Christian Biles. That's the third standard deviation away.
Dang.
That's genius level.
The crazy thing is,
I'm having a major flashback right now. I got to tell you guys this story real quick.
Oh.
Have you guys ever, and I'm not trying to be funny here, this is the crazy truth. Has anybody ever drove with Ben?
Yeah.
I got to tell you this. Sunkissed Kids Open years back. Ben, this is years back. Ben goes, hey, you want to go out for Mexican food? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I go out with Ben and his mom. Ben pulls up in his Prius, which is all cracked up, which should have been a pretty good indicator. I get in the car. That ride from wherever the Sunkissed Kid was to that Mexican restaurant, Ben, of any car ride I've ever been in my life, my heart's, I was like, the whole time I was like jolting.
Let's have some fun.
You driving a car, doing something. Oh my gosh. Crazy.
Yeah. The craziest thing is I got a 147 IQ, and I was actually riding a bike. So that's insane.
You wish, Christian.
It's so
you
funny.
wish.
It's so funny how much we have in common, Ben. It's kind of like the picks in wrestling. You know, you're right there.
You change them after we make the picks.
You're
you
so
don't change
close.
them.
It is honestly my favorite bit is how in Ben Askren's head I am that he cannot beat me in these picks, and that he's frankly not close, and that he brings it up all the time. I don't actually bring it up. You bring it up.
I beat you more weeks than I lost you.
Exactly.
You win 1 week. You're like, I'm getting my ass kicked. So you know what I'm gonna do? Ben. I know Ben's not paying attention that close. I'm gonna go change the picks when he's not looking. That's what happened. That happened.
Lying Ben. Now I don't believe you about your IQ because you're just blatantly lying.
Test me. Give me a test.
Okay.
Sign me up.
Okay, the test this week will involve picking wrestling matches, and you'll lose. Okay.
Not like last week. Whooped you last week.
Let's go to by one pick. Let's go to this voicemail. We have a voicemail here. Let's pull it in.
Oh yes, I love voicemails.
These are the best.
Hey boys, my name is Jake from New York. You may recognize me on the Twitter handle Mr. Kaya's Gas Tank. Gotta be more active, but that's my Twitter handle. Anyway, to join Kyle's as a Penn State homer, especially Bo Bartlett homer, I noticed over the weekend that there was two situations when Bartlett could have just tried to get a 2-point takedown and probably would have, but went for a cradle and didn't get it. The first against Sasso towards the end of the second period when Sasso shot in from that, I think it was an elbow tie, something like that, and Bartlett had the corner on him, and it looked like if he just switched off to a double, he would have gotten two, but instead he went for a cradle and Sasso escaped. And then, even more so against Lovett, he legit had him dead to right, could have settled with two, maybe even back points, but as soon as he reached over that head, Lovett was able to get out of it. Obviously, got an unbelievable takedown, but from a tactical standpoint, Bartlett's always willing to lose really close matches. Why is he able to get to win those close matches and get those takedowns when he needs to? So it's just food for thought. I'd love to hear some tactical advice from Ben, and peace out to you guys. Love the show.
Okay. So, first of all, I'm a Penn State homer, but according to Ben, you say I hate Penn State every show. So which is it? I love it. Iowa fans think I'm a Penn State homer. Penn State fans think I'm an Iowa homer. Maybe I'm just telling the truth, guys. How about that? All right, so do you remember this Bartlett, the Sasso position? Because I actually didn't until I went back and watched it again.
I actually don't either. I'm gonna bring it up. I remember the second one though, and we talked specifically about the second one and how I don't know why the hell he went over the head and how he should have slid his hips back and tried to go through him.
So I'm gonna put in the chat right here.
Oh, you're putting it? Okay, I'm searching it.
The Bartlett one. Look right under the voicemail. That's the link to the Penn State Ohio State match.
Okay, got it.
And then it happens. I can tell you. Oh shoot, I had it here.
Okay, all good. I'll bring it up quick. Listen, this is a common thing and this is like, I don't want to say all wrestlers, but anytime that you go over the head, if the guy underneath, if you miscalculate your ability to get a cradle, you're putting yourself in bad position if the other guy knows what he's doing. So, going for cradles is essentially a little bit of risky business. Okay, I'm watching it. I got it right now. Yeah, it's literally almost the same scenario as the Bartlett and Ridge Lovett match. Yeah, he should stop doing this as stuff here.
He should have dropped what? So he's got like the near ankle, and he's got almost like he's got the arm. Tyler, I'm going to send you the picture right now.
Yeah, he needs to slide his hips off again, just like we said in the Love It match. If he slides his hips just a little further away, and I realize this is not going to be easy, and then Sasso's probably going to slide out, and Bartlett's probably going to end in a single leg. But this is where, like, you know who does this really well here is then when that happens, they bring it up to the feet and finishes Marinelli. It's kind of what he did against Hamidi, a little bit, right, where he slides off, brings the leg up high, and finishes. Iowa generally does this position pretty well.
Yeah, honestly, this is a good position with Penn State. They'll normally like drag that side and drop to the leg and finish
and go like head inside really single.
Good. Yes,
Nickley's, he's good there. Yeah,
and so it's weird that Bo. I think I wonder with these tactical things, is Bo thinking, all right, I need to go bigger here and try for something, but something.
But Bo's so good defensively, a takedown freaking win the match a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Yeah.
I am sort of surprised to see that tactic employed here. And with we kind of dissected the Ridge one. It's similar. Just you think he should just drop his hips back. But it's an interesting thing you see in wrestling so much. Like I see it in youth practice all the time. But it also happens at the highest levels. They go for these. They'll be on a single and they'll attack the head for the cradle, or they'll be on the single and they'll try to finish around the body with the thing instead of just. Why don't people just stay on the leg more, Ben?
Bad habits are hard to break. I don't know because you are right. It happens at all levels. People get greedy and want to do one of those two things. I mean, the cradle is a great opportunity here, but you got to know that it's there. And so I talk about both offensively and defensively, knowing where your cradle radar is. Like, and you need to recalculate for every opponent because. Right. If I'm defensively and my opponent's got a little longer arms, I probably got to keep my head and my knee a little further apart, and I got to know where that is. And then when I'm wrestling, obviously my arms are always the same length, so I should know when to go for this and when not to go for this, right? Because if I go for this and it's not there, then I'm going to be in bad position because I just put my arm over his head, which means he can then get his head up and into me. Right, which is what happened in both the Ridge Lovett and the Sasso match here. So if I go for that cradle and it's not there, I'm putting myself in a position where I'm likely to get taken down, or maybe not likely, but significantly more likely than I would have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually didn't realize how close. I mean, I watched the match, but I think until this guy brought it up, I didn't realize what a good position he was to score in, because it's really only a split second where he looks like he's in a really good reattack, go behind position. And then he goes for the cradle so fast and then he immediately loses the position.
Yeah, the other thing here too is, okay, so what's going to happen here, because I can play this real easily, is if he slides off and goes single, Sasso's going to pop his chest up. Then Bartlett's probably not going to bring it up high because there's only a few guys who do it really, really well, right? And say Marinelli is one of them. And then he's probably going to end up in some type of shin wizard, and then Sasso's going to turn it into the Terrell position. So maybe I'm giving Bartlett a lot of credit. Maybe he's doing the calculation that I know 4 steps away that I'm going to end up in a Terrell position with Sammy Sasso, and that's his best position. I don't want to be there.
Yeah. Fun. I like the technique stuff. I don't know if you guys either. Hey, did you yesterday I walked you through ESPN Plus and how to find matches, and I said, did this help anyone? Because I thought it was the worst time in radio history. But JD had some. You have a little feedback there, JD.
Some people reached out. Some people were in the chat. Some people sent in stuff and it actually helped them. So
wow,
you are not alone, Ben.
How about that?
I'm not. Well, I clicked on the link. I literally go to the corner of the website. It says watch match. I flip and click on it. And then it just sits there.
What good is that IQ even doing you, Ben?
Yeah, Mr. IQ.
I'm using my IQ for important things, not links that don't work. It doesn't work, JD. I don't need to be smart. Cornell just needs to have a stupid link that works. How about that? ESPN Plus, make a better product. Your product sucks.
Wow. Now it's most people can figure it out. Some people can't figure it out. You know, I guess
I got more things going on in my life. Just make me a link that works. Don't make me do extra work.
Maybe if you're at 147 like me, you could find the links. But you're stuck down.
I found the link, Christian. It didn't work.
Found the right link. You know, it's okay though. You know,
some people just need to be guided along through this life.
Yeah. That's what the leaders here. And JD's got a 148. He never brings it up. He never brings it up.
He's from Iowa. No one from the state of Iowa's got over a 120.
You're
so
from
JD's
Iowa.
screwed.
You were born in Iowa.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't start that.
Okay, dude. All right. Let's go to
Hey,
some
guys,
questions.
here, let me throw this in there real quick.
Toss it.
I thought about this last night
149.
when I was looking over like Rutherford stuff. Here's a list that would be fun to do. The Mount Rushmores of people born in specific states. Zane Rutherford was born in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
No, he wasn't. You're a liar.
Yes. Because I got me thinking, and I'm like, man, Dieringer, I believe, was born in Wisconsin. Rutherford was born in Wisconsin. And I thought about you, Ben, but that's right. You were born in Iowa. I forgot about that. But yeah, Zane Rutherford. So we're going to, as in Wisconsin, we claim Zane Rutherford as one of our own. He's born in Kenosha.
Wow.
Can we confirm this with his mother?
There it is.
Wikipedia.
Confirmed on Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is sketchy. You know what is my favorite? When someone goes in and changes Wikipedia to something really stupid before they can figure it out, and then people post it on Twitter. I don't know why it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh really hard.
It's great.
Has anyone put your IQ in your Wikipedia page, Ben?
They should. Someone go do that. Put it on Twitter.
Ben Aspen got a 140. So you took some. So you're in a car and you on your phone and you took some online IQ test and you just took in
and
his
the other
gospel?
people in the car, they're getting a little chirpy, Christian Biles. They're getting a little chirpy. And I said, listen, I'll whoop all you guys. I'm driving the car. I don't even need two hands. I need one hand and half my attention. That's all I need. I'll whoop you dudes. That's what I said. And then I did it.
Oh, man.
And then I did it. I have the highest IQ in the car.
I think. Listen, if you do an IQ test while driving, that's 50 IQ, automatic grade. 50.
No, it bonuses.
50.
I should have like a 174 or something. That's my weight class.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly intelligent.
Stable genius. Wow, your Trump is one of the worst ever, JD.
You guys need to watch. Hey, Shane Gillis has the best Trump impression, in my opinion. This guy Shane Gillis, I watched him live in live comedy. Good. Oh my God, dude! I don't know why he's not a bigger deal because he makes me die laughing. He's freaking hilarious.
He does a bunch of good impressions.
Yeah,
he really does. I'm gonna get the Trump impression. I'm gonna send it, put it in the doc, and you guys are gonna have to laugh too hard.
All right, I won't pull it up. At least right now. Okay, let's go to questions. I like this one.
Let's do it.
Of all the highly successful high school wrestlers every year, some make it as successful college wrestlers and some do not. What do you think this is? Quality or skill? A high school wrestler should be looking at if they want to make it as a successful college wrestler. Well, let's go to the guy that knows about college success in wrestling, JD. Why don't you spell it out for us? Just kidding.
I put it. I'm worried about this Trump impression, so I put it in. In the doc. It's in the doc right now. You guys can watch it. You're gonna die laughing. All right. The question was. Let me just make sure that all highly successful high school wrestlers every year, some make it, some don't. Yeah. And people. So obviously, I think people put way too much weight on really early success, and I don't want to pick on guys, but we think guys like Mason Manville, Adam Busiello, guys who are having high level success as freshmen and sophomores in high school, not even later, right? And I think there's too much emphasis put on those having success at that age, and really as guys make it to college, I don't want to say prior success doesn't matter, right? Because obviously, if you have a higher floor where you're starting at, it maybe is a little easier to move up. But a lot of it's just going to be straight up your desire. Like, do you want to keep training hard? Do you want to keep learning? Are you willing to put in the time that it's going to take to be great? Because it doesn't matter where you start at. If you're not willing to put the time in, you're not going to be good. And that's just simple.
Yeah, no doubt. All right.
And I'll say, and maybe you know what? I'm gonna say another thing. If it's parent forced. If it's parent forced, that's when it really backfires. Because if a parent can force a child to be good, right? And actually, from a really early age, it's easy to intimidate a child. It's easy to intimidate a child into drilling really hard or doing other things, and they'll build a certain skill level. But unless they develop that passion, they're never going to take it to the next level ever.
Yeah. No doubt that's true. And you see this with coaches too. They'll totally handhold kids at high. I know I obviously won't name names, but there's really good high school wrestlers with coaches that just want their high school wrestler to be really, really good and win matches for them. And then they hold hand for cutting weight and they make sure they're at practice and they're just on them all the time. And that can work and they'll win the Ironman and they'll win this tournament and that tournament. But then once they go to the Big Ten school where that coach is not going to do that for them. And there's 10 other guys on their team that are going to do all those things on their own. And then they fall behind. And the crazy thing is they can fall off fast. You can go from so elite to past immediately.
Yes. And because one of the things that also happens there, Christian, too, is right, there's all the things you talked about, but then also when that person's so used to experience such a high level of success and all of a sudden they suck, that like mentally they're like, oh my God, this is terrible. I've never experienced this in my life, because from the time I've been 8 years old, I've been really good and winning a lot of things, and now I can't. And they don't know how to deal with that like letdown or that defeat and build back up.
And you see it in rooms, and you know this happens in clubs and high schools. It's like these guys get everything sort of, when you're the big gun on your high school team and your club, everything's catered around you. These coaches, a lot of places, they'll cater things to you. They'll make sure you're getting the right partners and the right looks and the special attention and all this stuff. And the parents are helping make that happen. And then they get to college and that's not happening. And that's tough too.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And when you were recruiting high school kids, what were 2 or 3 things that you paid especially more attention to?
Yeah. So I guess I didn't recruit for a long time. So I was 2 years in Missouri. I wasn't in a recruiting spot or position. I was at Arizona State for 2 seasons. And I know one guy I'll say that I called under the radar was Nashawn Garrett. Like, I watched his film and I loved him. And obviously I didn't get him to go to Arizona State. He went to Cornell, but he ended up being really damn good. I like guys who wrestle hard no matter what. So like, I'm trying to find matches where they take a whooping, right? I'm trying to find matches where I don't want to see every match where they win. Like, that's not really telling me a whole lot. I want to see how they compete when they're down. And that's a big factor, right? That's not the only factor, but that's telling, right? Because the other thing as a college coach, most likely a lot of people around that person are going to lie to you about their work ethic or whatever else. So you're not really going to get those nitty gritty details. And so, you're trying to kind of perceive things that maybe are under the surface.
That's interesting about Nashawn. And, he was far from, I remember when he went to Cornell, he was like, no one really thought he knew if he would start, because they had Bricker Dixon and I think Caleb Richardson were all like bigger recruits than Nashawn. And then, of course, he ended up being far and away better than all those guys. So that's interesting. Yeah. I never heard that, Ben. You should have gotten
he was from Chico, California. Yep. And I remember, and it was obviously a little harder to find film back then, but I watched a handful of matches. I really loved him. And another guy who I really loved, he ended up being good, not as good as Nashawn, but was Dave Habit. And just another guy who competed really hard, and I really liked him. And obviously, we didn't get him to go to Arizona State either, but I really enjoyed him a lot.
Dang it, Tim Flynn got you.
Recruiting stories. I mean, if coaches talked about recruiting stories, like gave you the real scoop on that, I bet some of those stories are just fascinating. We thought this guy was going to be great, and then this happened. Yeah. And, this guy we didn't think was, he's going to be a walk-on, and he ended up being fantastic. I mean, there's just going to be.
I'll tell you a good one, Shane. We almost got Franklin Gomez. I hosted him on his recruiting. I'll tell you 2 stories. I hosted Franklin Gomez on his recruiting trip, and I got this dude. He was like, "Yeah, I'm coming here," and I'm like, "Yes." Cause I kind of tell, like, I could see it in him,
Yeah.
I was a college kid at this point in time, and then he walked it back, and he went to flipping Michigan State, and we would have won the NCAA title if we would have Franklin.
So he was going to go to Missouri.
He told me, he's like, "I'm coming here. I love it." Blah 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 blah, and then he walked it back. Franklin, man, you let me down.
Man.
I forgave you though. Franklin's a great dude. Okay. I thought I had him though. I thought I had him in Missouri.
You got out recruited by Minkle, man.
Yeah.
You didn't have the
there were some other factors I won't say on radio.
Oh.
And the other one was Tanner Hall. I still laugh about this because Tanner Hall graduated last year, I think. I took Tanner Hall to a Mexican spot in Tempe when I was recruiting him, and it always felt like, holy crap, I have not been in Tempe for freaking ever, and this dude is still in college, and I remember hosting him, I was a coach, but I took him to lunch. Like, how was he still in college?
Yes.
Finally not.
Well, he went on a mission. He went on a mission, though, right?
On the mission.
And like 7 red shirts, and then, somehow.
Yeah, he was gone 2 years ago because Schultz wrestled last year.
Yeah, yep.
Oh, you're right. It was 2020. But I took on my recruiting trip, like, I think in 2009 or 2010.
Yeah.
Probably the same Mexican place you took me to.
Oh, God. But there was a lot of good ones down there.
Yeah.
So good.
Tanner Hall was Meachichin and staying in college and forever before it was cool.
Before it was cool.
Before it was cool, yes.
Okay. Next question. I don't think the country quite realizes how good Iowa State is as a dual team. So good, good, frankly. I don't see a path to victory for UNI on Friday or Missouri on the 16th. Prove me wrong. He says there's no way Missouri can beat Iowa State. He sees no path. Now, this guy's Twitter handle is Siowa1, and it's an Iowa State avatar, so slightly biased. But I think there's definitely a path for Missouri, right?
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Keegan's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton's gonna be back, I believe, and should win. Harmon's been wrestling really good though. 84, they're probably unlikely. 97, I would say Elam's slightly favored, but not heavily favored.
That'll be a great match.
That'd be a good match. I think the bigger Elam is favored. Zach says 3 matches that they're favored. 25 will be fun. We'll say it's a toss-up. 33, you'd lean Iowa State probably, although he's not great. 41, they got Parker down there now, right?
Yeah, what's Hart's deal?
I'm not. I don't know, actually. He's only missed 1 match, so I don't know what the deal is. That would probably be a toss. Who won last time?
Hart.
Hart beat him, right? Yeah, Hart beat him. 49 probably favor Iowa State, but Edmond has had.
Deacon's kind of a shell of his former All-American.
Okay.
So, but I think it's a toss-up.
Toss-up, and then 57. JQ's lost a lot of matches this year, so we'll say it's like a 1% chance.
At 57?
Christian's gonna say 0%.
Man, yeah. It's a low percentage. David, you want to talk about under the radar? David Carr.
Yeah, Carr's a stud.
What do you mean? Everyone thinks he's great. How's he under the radar?
I don't know.
He's not under the radar.
He's not in the conversation enough. I don't know.
I agree with Christian.
Conversation for what?
As good as he is, he's not talked about a ton.
I mean, Hodge. Not that he maybe even should be, but I just think you don't talk about him enough. His greatness.
There's only so many hours in a day. You can only talk about so much.
Yeah, I mean, he's the number 1 threat to Shane's future son-in-law, who he met, Ryan Deacon. But that was a big day.
I love Deacon and I love Carr. I'd love to see him wrestle, but I'll tell you, if those guys wrestle for a final, I don't want to see one of those guys lose. I think those 2 guys are fantastic. Great people. Ryan Deacon and David Carr are great human beings and awesome wrestlers. Like, if you get to spend any amount of time with either one of those guys, you'll be a fan for life. Honestly, It's like gonna be like watching. It's gonna be the equivalent of watching if I had 2 sons wrestle for an NCAA final. That's what I'll feel like.
Wow,
just excruciating. I love them both.
2 sons, one of your sons.
That close?
I think both those guys. I think the world of both of them. They're 2 of my favorite guys to wrestle or to watch wrestle for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think NCAA's. It's just hard to pick against Carr.
I mean,
it
won
is.
in CKLV.
It is.
Last time they met.
I know.
In folk style.
But that was Carr's freshman year. At
the Cliff Keen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so long ago, right?
Yeah. Okay. Good question there. What match?
Got any about the brain busters for us?
I like this one. Ben Randolph. What's more likely? NCAA's top 4 teams are all from the Big Ten, or 2 non-Big Ten teams make the top 4? I think it's actually kind of clearly two non-Big Ten teams? Because I don't know who the fourth Big Ten team would be. Right?
I'm going to look right now.
Iowa, Penn State, obvious top two, but
Michigan
and Michigan is the third. But who would be the fourth? I
have a hard time seeing. So Ohio State and Nebraska are the two next highest ranked in your polls.
Yeah,
no, not happening. I think the thing that's going to happen is three Big Ten teams get on there, and then
that's most likely. Yeah.
Arizona State or Oklahoma State if they get AJ back.
NC State potentially.
NC State. How many different coffee mugs does Ben Askren have?
My wife must have bought this yesterday because I've never used this one before on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the bigger ones. She has some that are really small. I don't like those. So this one has it's got some girth to it. So I figured I'd get a lot of coffee in there.
They love girth. I like it.
Miles, kick him off air, JD. He's worse than
Why
Sion.
is that funny? I don't even get it, guys.
Worse than Sion. Kick him off, JD.
Later.
I'm just kidding. I'm a dirty dog. How many team points is Insta-death worth? 5, 5.5, 6, 10?
Make it 10.
Absolutely 6. You killed him.
Listen,
Insta-death for Ben and me is what Matt returns are to Shane.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, that's the collab we need because you don't have Insta-death without Matt returns.
What's Insta-death?
Oh my
Shane,
gosh.
you've never heard our Insta-death bit?
Oh man. All right,
I have not.
Ben, do you want to give the pitch? This is kind of Ben's
I don't even remember how it started. I don't remember how it started.
Oh, it's
but
his
one
child.
time we were talking about how we hated when people rode forever. And so I said, if you ride long enough, it should just be over. They're done. Ride. If they ride for too long, 5 minutes ride time, it's boring as shit. And so I said, let's do a Insta-death. I think at 3.5 minutes, I think our time. You stay on top of someone for 3.5 minutes, the match is over. You're done.
Pinpoints. Yeah, and so we've devised we've talked about Insta-death a lot, and like for example, one of the things that drives Ben nuts is like who took bottom in the third period.
Bartlett against Ridge Lovett to avoid the major.
He allegedly took bottom in the third period for alleged reasons, according to Ben. We'll never know why. But he basically did it so he wouldn't get majored. But if Insta-death was on the line, Shane, he would have gotten ridden out, and he'd have been Insta-death for pinpoint. So he's got to go neutral. He's got to wrestle.
At the time that he picked bottom, how long had Lovett rode him up to that point?
I think it was like two something. So it was like another minute for Insta-death.
But don't you think right there, if you're Bartlett, you just want to continue to get that work on bottom, right?
Get that work. What do you mean get that work?
Are you joking?
No, listen. During the regular season, I think a lot of times gaining intel is more important than the result. That's my point.
He got his ass kicked for 2.5 minutes on
It's
bottom.
not a reconnaissance.
I'm just bringing it up. Bringing it up because it wouldn't have mattered in the dual meet, really. I mean, it wouldn't have had. It's not like they would have had that outcome didn't matter in the team score.
No, he didn't want to get majored. That was the deal. He didn't want to get majored, so he chose bottom instead of choosing what would have been the much superior choice of neutral. He was on bottom for long enough. He felt plenty of stuff.
I would say go back on bottom and get more work on. Like try to figure it out.
No, you're insane.
No way. I mean,
no way.
What do we wrestle for? Is this a reconnaissance mission or are we trying to win a match?
Reconnaissance.
I mean, what? Intel, I already know. 2 minutes. I can't get away from this guy currently. And you know what? I'm not going to figure it out right now. My coaches maybe will have some suggestions. We go there. I've been working bottom for 20 years.
All right. I'm just giving you. I don't think that he went on bottom to avoid a major decision.
He did. I dared flip and tee it. It happens all the time.
It wasn't to win the. It wasn't maybe major or not. It wasn't to win the match.
It was to avoid the major.
You do not go.
Guys, this happens all the time.
I'll give you that.
They go bottom to avoid the major.
The goal of the match at all times should be to win it. The match you're in.
I don't know if that's true, Christian. I'm going to give you a scenario.
You play to win the game.
Hear me out. If you are wrestling a really good guy, I would say this. I'm going to set the table. You're a top 5 guy, and you're wrestling another top 5 guy at maybe the Cliff Key. And to win that match, your best position would be to go neutral. Okay? It's like to win the match. But I want to go on bottom of a guy to get a feel So when I wrestle him at the NCAA tournament, it's not the first time I'm going underneath him. Like if I was wrestling a really good guy that was tough on top and I knew he was tough on top, I'm going on bottom in November. And I might lose the match, and that's okay. Compared to picking another position, I win the match, and then I got to go on bottom of him in March.
Why do you have to go on bottom in March? Why do you have to go on bottom in March? Maybe you'll pick up some.
You might be forced to. Well,
that's a different story then.
I mean,
well, that's my point is, I don't think all the time it's about that the most important thing is to win a match. I don't think that's always the most important thing to do.
So listen, I'll say if there's a.
There you go. Herm knows.
If there's a situation where like you think you can get away on bottom, you're not right. There's no guarantee, but you think, hey, I'm gonna get away on bottom. I'm pretty good on bottom. He's all right on top, but I don't think he's that good. Yeah, I'm gonna pick bottom, and then maybe he rides the crap out of me. I'm like, damn, dude's way better on top than I thought. And next time, I'm not gonna choose bottom. So in that instance, it would be nice to know, which I didn't know in the first place, but I still had the inclination that I was gonna get away on bottom, right? If I think there's a high likelihood I'm not gonna. If Rich Lovett is my opponent, and I'm not that good on bottom, I'm not flipping choosing bottom. That is gonna hurt my chances to win the match.
Also. Yeah, you get intel, but you can learn also on your feet if you wrestle a guy more on your feet.
Sure.
And also that person gets the feel for your bottom tactics as well, right? It's like, okay, this is what he's going to do on bottom. So I just think you just, go where you're good. The auto bottom is silly.
This is interesting, guys, because I hate to bring it up, but basically what you guys are doing right now is solidifying my whole wide Robles go on bottom then, right?
Wait, what? You're what?
Why'd Robles go on bottom? Yeah.
Why'd Robles go on bottom then, guys?
No idea.
No, because it was his best chance to win the match. I tell you this.
On,
Shane,
Ben.
I've told you this for 10 years. Because it was the best place for him to win the match.
Ben.
He wasn't losing, he was winning. Totally different scenario.
Ben, here's what I know about the Robles match. He had taken him down, turned him a couple times, and was riding the heck out of the guy. Why would you go on bottom?
Time. Shane, I've already explained this to you. Anthony Robles, because he lacked a leg, he couldn't use hip pressure to ride. It was all forearms. And as anyone who's ever ridden, as anyone who's ever ridden for a long time knows, if you're using too much forearms, they get exhausted. So Anthony Robles, as a rider in the first period, and now listen, he had 24 techs that year, so a lot of them didn't get that far, was not the same as Anthony Robles as a rider in the third period. In the third period, he was relatively, and he never got there very much, but he wasn't nearly as effective on top in the third period because he had to use so much forearms. Watch the way he rides. It's way different.
Yeah, so without bringing that up.
We're not talking about Robles and McDonough again.
What I'll say is this. What do you think Iowa was hoping he would take in the third?
I think probably top.
No!
Guys, he's going to have to pin him. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
He'll be able to stall. He has no stall warnings to that point.
It was going to take time
Actually,
off the clock.
Actually, neutral. Probably neutral will be the best. But yeah.
Okay.
But no, I'm with you on the Bartlett thing. I don't know if I agree with that he chose bottom to avoid a major. I don't know if I'd go that far.
I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that's what happened. I am flipping 100%. 100%.
All right.
There's no doubt.
Then
it happens a lot.
Okay, then I would definitely say that I would have went neutral if I was him.
Yes. Insta-death. We need Shane. Can you talk to Big Ten commissioners about instituting Insta-death for next year?
So at least now I know what it means. So you're saying if you ride somebody
you missed my bit last week.
If you ride somebody for 3.5 minutes, the match is over.
And so listen, here's what's going to happen though, Shane. This is going to become, it's going to go from one of those boring times in wrestling to one of the best. Because before, you're doing the third period ride out, and we're all like, oh, score 7-2. Let's just get this match over with, right? And now, Christian, where's your damn bongo drum? We need you on this.
I know. I need the bongo.
And the whole crowd's going to be going, Insta-death, 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 Insta-death. Everyone's going to be chanting. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting, right? Because you're right. The urgency changes.
Yes.
No doubt. No one wants to be Insta-death. That we know. 946 deep in the heart of Texas.
Then you'd be pinned, major, teched, or Insta-death.
It'd be great. One more question. From the Michigan
that's
Mafioso, that National Wrestling Hall of Fame recently gave Mario Lopez the 22 Outstanding American Award.
He is.
Could Ben use his connections to get an FRL interview with Bayside wrestling legend AC Slater?
I bet he would probably come on if I asked. Yeah.
Didn't he do Bader Show or Who's Number One?
No,
or something?
he came on. He came on a Flow Grappling podcast.
Yeah, Who's Number
That's
One?
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. We had George St. Pierre,
Israel
Adesanya, and Mario
Dang.
Lopez in like
They're kind of a big deal over there.
3-week span.
Flow
Yeah,
Grappling.
Adesanya called in from his like $1 million car as he was
he was
speeding
driving
down
around in a Lambo. It was very on brand. Hey, one other thing: if you got some video skills and you want to work at Flow Wrestling, we would consider hiring you. We are hiring for not one but 2 positions here at Flow Wrestling. So
What
if
does the IQ need to be on that, Christian?
147 minimum. So if you don't have a 147 IQ, you can't be on. So sorry to Ben. Ben actually didn't hear that, I don't think.
I heard it. It might be higher, Christian. We don't know how high it is. I was driving a car, only half paying attention. It might be 166. I don't know.
It might be even be high enough to be the president.
Oh my gosh. We got to retire his Trump.
I put I put it. You guys need to watch it in the doc and then send me how funny this guy is.
Okay. I'll watch it
What do you
right
think
now.
of the Olympics in
Thank you.
China?
Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Ben.
Love you
Call
guys.
and leave
Have
some
a good day.
voicemails.
Leave some voicemails. Guys, get your IQs up. If you're not 146, you can't leave a FRL question. Sorry. Those are the rules. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're going to do the picks. I'm going to widen the gap. Ben's happy to win by 1. Look at that smile. He's frozen. He left. He can't even stay for the end of the show. Shane stays to the bitter end. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
What part-time Ben. Mr. 146. Wow. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great Wednesday. Let's get some tacos, JD. See ya.
Guys, that's a blast. That is a fun time. That is a fun time, man.